I wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name. Check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain. I ingest, I retain, assess and I change. Possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints. Money, clout and fame, mud, disease, a plague. We all love to hate, have to play the game, have to make a name. All our insecurities are on display. This is war with the enemy. Think that it was meant to be. Living in a time.
Hello and welcome, listeners, to another episode of Tactical Awareness. It is Season 1, Episode 22. It's the Ash-free episode. I'm just doing the intros and the editing, but I had a sick kid at home. I could not make the recording night. I just bailed out on it, so I let Owen and Dan run this one. I have virtually no idea what takes place or what's talked about. I disavow any responsibility for their opinions, and generally speaking, you should strap yourselves in for, I'm sure, a hell of a ride. So here we go. More Tactical Awareness.
Start as a Family Guy, by the way,
maybe.
Dan.
The what?
We're gonna have that like.
Now I'll make those. There you go. Now it's recording. All right, it's recording, and you're the host.
Perfect.
All right, get the hell out of here, Ash. Nobody likes you.
All right, bye.
Go on, get.
Night,
Go
guys.
deal with family or whatever.
Fucking children.
First topic: why do we hate Ash?
Okay. We'll do it. We'll do an intro.
I got it out. Okay,
Hello, everyone,
welcome.
to an
Ash isn't
episode
here.
of Tactical Awareness. Ash isn't here, and I don't know how to count, so we don't know what episode this is. But it's the one after the last one and before the next one.
Definitely, 100%.
And Dan's here, and I'm here, and we have a subject that we planned on talking about.
Do
And
we?
it will definitely not be something that I just made up as I look at profiles in Infinity and scroll through the Discord chat, thinking about what it is that I've been thinking about.
You may or may not be able to get China cast Infinity models off AliExpress. You didn't hear it here, but I may be building some models.
We could just
I
talk about that.
Ash has
Yes.
moral sensibility and is abhorrently against it.
I have mixed feelings about it. I would not have
yeah.
a problem if someone did it. I would be hesitant to buy newer or available products in copies. That said, old stuff is hard to get. If you can get it for $5 a model, or $5 for a pack of models, or $5 for a tag, hard to compete. What have been the rules debates recently? Has there been anything crazy that you've come across where it's like,
No, I haven't been playing.
that's fair?
I'm the worst. I don't even play Infinity anymore. I had like 3-4 months of like nonstop Infinity, and then I just went whack and fell over.
Cold turkey, burned out, went too hard, flew too close to the sun.
I think I just got a job.
That'll do it.
Unemployment is good times for hobbying times. Let me tell you.
That's fair. I gotta get back on the painting wagon. I kind of went crazy for those couple months, and I've painted like 5 armies. And then after doing this last event in Ontario, I just have like zero desire. I just like built some models and was trying to find a gimmick that I'd want to play again. But I don't
That's
know.
usually how it goes, though. You go up and down with the painting. It's so hot in Calgary right now. I'm sweating. I'm jealous that you live in a basement apartment.
It's helpful. It's like 20 degrees.
I need to get my fan. I'm gonna be AFK for a minute. I'm gonna grab.
I also
my fan.
have central air, which is nice. All right, let's read some comments while Dan goes.
Good luck. I'm gone.
So there's a question on whether or not you can use baggage to reload yourself. You definitely can, because you're a model that is within your own zone of control. Magariba guards, I think, are the only ones that actually comes up with. Everyone else has a weapon on a baggage model that can't be reloaded. One thing that I should note, the model who is reloading not the one who is available to allow a reload, is the one who spends the order. Having played the double Maggie list a bunch of times, and then having inspired the people in our community to do so as well. The idea of like, I put my baggage bot in group 2 with 1 order, and then he spends his order to reload. That ain't how it works. A model spends its order to reload, and it needs to be within zone of control of a baggage bot.
The baggage bot can be fully AFK.
But it does mean that the baggage bot can't use its order to reload someone else.
Oh hell no, that's cheating.
That's the group sort of thing. There's a bit of conversation around what a pilot is and an operator is, because after revealing in the last episode that
Owen's a dirty cheater.
Yeah, the Anaconda. I mean, I never got out. It was just I was thinking about that you could, after your comments about how you can like leave your tag, die, and come back in, or when you're dead you can get back out again and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't apply to the Anaconda in any way, because smoke and ejection systems kind of change the way that math goes down.
Yeah, but pilots have 0 pull on like points. Pilots are always 0 points, but because Anaconda operators aren't pilots, they count towards full points.
Right, which is the same for the lizard guy in or whichever nomad one it is. I think it's the lizard. Which tag is iguana? Yeah, the iguana. So he also does not have the pilot skill, and thus is worth the cost of an iguana.
Does he also explode out?
Yeah. And he's no joke when he explodes out. Like, he's a 2-wound armor 3 HMG.
Oh, that's awesome.
With BS12. Like, when he jumps out, he's like shock immune, tack aware. Like, he keeps his tack aware as well. And then he's just an HMG running around. Tears it off of the iguana before he leaves. So it's actually like a 4-wound tag.
Oh yeah, I was about to ask that. I was like, wait a minute.
Because it's got 2 structure points, then he ejects, which gives the whole smoke thing. And then he's 2 wounds on ground. And the cool thing about the iguana is that it's also a repeater. So you can protect it against enemy hackers with your own hackers all the time. Because anyone who's close enough to hack it, or through like repeaters, you could then spend orders to go through it. That's deal.
True. Yeah. Anytime you could hack it means it could hack you back, no matter what.
Yeah. It can't do the hacking, like it needs someone else to. But Nomads has got tons of killer hackers.
But because it's a repeater, it doesn't really matter.
Right.
That means the iguana can reset or dodge or whatever, and the other people can hack.
Yeah. There's killer hacking device. There's just hacking device. Is it hacking device killer?
Oh yeah. So we spent a bunch of time looking at the different pilots and like wondering what pilots were best. And there was which one was the killer hacker?
I feel like he's in Nomads. I might be wrong about that. There is a pilot.
I can't remember now.
Contender, Lizard One, Gecko, Gator. Maybe he's not in Nomads. Combined army, maybe?
The Bull Track is NCO. That's fun. And veteran. But wait, once you... I guess if you jump out before you die. But mostly we're talking about like if you die and they don't finish you off.
He can jump out after it's dead.
Yeah. But veteran doesn't matter at that point because he's not providing a... But
he
NCO
can't be isolated.
I guess that's true. Can't be isolated and still NCO. So you can use that lieutenant order.
Yep.
all the remote presence bots are all lame. Yeah, they just have flash pulses.
Yeah, they're all kind of nothing. I'm not sure who it was, because Yujing was the other side that I was thinking would potentially have it. I mean, Scarface is a solid fighter when he gets out as well.
Dude, the Raicho pilot has an assault pistol +1 burst at BS12.
I mean, it's something.
That's pretty good. You just jump out and go, blam! You're like, oh good, I killed it. I don't have to, oh my god, there's so many bullets coming at me. Where?
Well, the Oyuroi pilot is just like martial arts CC23 stealth contender. Like, hey, if my tag goes down, I'm just gonna come out and stab you. Now I'm really like, who was it?
Yeah, what were these?
There was some. It's not going to be Hakuslav. I'd know it if it was
the
Hakuslav.
Margarita has the medikit, so that's fine.
Yeah. Being a paramedic,
Yeah,
when you
paramedic.
get it, is pretty slick.
One of the only one that doesn't have specialist troop because it doesn't need it. It already is.
Like I was sure that it was in. There it is, Salamandra. In Nomads, it was a Nomad one.
Oh, so that's right. Because that was a hypermagnetic cannon, which is scary as hell, and then it can just jump out and killer hack people.
Yeah, and then it can jump out and be a killer hacker. With
one more reason to play this tag.
So like, and the thing we were talking about last week, and that you can continue from that, is someone's shooting at your Salamandra, who's armor 8 BTS 9. So like he's a big boy among the size 7 tags.
Yeah.
Because you get a lot of 8s, but BTS 6. Whereas he's 8 and 9. He's not quite the Avatar or the Yodam, but he's up there. But they hit you. They do 3 wounds and they knock you unconscious, and then they leave you because it's like, oh yeah, I don't have any engineers. And then next thing they know, the pilot climbs out of the tag and then just starts killer hackering them.
So you wanna hack my tag?
Yeah, that too.
First the only thing is if they immobilize you though, then
you can't get out.
Then you can't get out.
Or if they possess you.
Also that. I have possessed a salamander. He just stood there and was like, "Nah, good enough. You can't repossess him. You don't have any command points left. He'll just be there." It was wonderful.
My trip hammer got possessed. Then he killed both my anacondas.
In the tournament?
Yep.
Well, I mean, guess if you're beside him and he's like, shotgun.
Yeah, he was Mim 6. And he's like, I lay down the shotguns. Oh, you explode out, but you don't die.
Dude,
I killed the other one.
You rolled as well as you did. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, I'll never get it again.
The worst is when you're like, DA close combat weapon. You're like, woo!
Hey man, go in melee, get burst 3, your mediocre tag.
You don't get extra burst in melee.
You do if you're in a Harris and you bring everybody with you.
Oh yeah. Never mind. You can. But how do you even get around that many? Yeah, I feel like 2 is realistically the max amount of people.
I posted a picture. I had 3 tags attacking the box.
A box, that makes sense.
Tag remotes are as big as a box. Other tags,
they're not going to be sitting in the middle though. They're going to be on the edge. But I guess you move fast. Come around the corner. You could do it. It's possible.
Move 6. Yeah. Or you're just walking straight at them because it's like you're walking forward and shotgunning, and they're not going to kill you. Many infantry, they're just going to bounce, or they'll do a wound or something, and you're still going to keep coming at them. It's weird. I've been building lists and like thinking about playing the game, and I'll probably go out on Saturday and play some games. But it's all falling into like skews. Like there's nothing even resembling reasonable lists that I'm making anymore.
Was there ever though?
I mean, there was like the kind of. Yeah, like the alternate list at Carbonite was like a normal list.
Yeah, that was only because Ash pushed you to it.
Yes. It's called Ash's Shakoosh list and has no Shakoosh.
No Shakoosh necessary.
Yeah. It's got 2 links. 2 3-man teams.
It's funny because we call the parent factions vanilla, but I feel like the 5-man 3, like the core Harris, is more vanilla.
Right. Because it's just so ubiquitous. It's so strong. I don't know, like
it's very strong.
You can deal with it, but you have to be like really aware of how the mechanics of the game work. and like how your army functions and what models can do what in order to deal with those.
You can't play the same game they're playing, right?
You can, but then it comes purely down to like, is my dice going to go with me, or did I get first turn or whatever?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're in for a bad time.
I mean, the specialist troops dive bombing or peace trading is the same, mostly.
Yeah. Well, all those like the war bandy kind of people.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I should play the motorcycle Pakistan army again, because I used to play it all the time. I have like 10 Coom Riders.
What's their AVA now?
Total.
Oh, it is still total.
Yeah.
But they with the 15 model cap.
Yeah, the problem is the 15
they're all
model
irregular.
cap, because I used to just bring 10 as their own group for 60 points.
Huzzah!
And you're like, I don't care if they all die. If one of them kills something, perfect.
Just wasting your orders.
Mm-hmm. They drive towards you, 8-6, pop and smoke. They might get somebody. They get close, they chain rifle. They have dogged.
They have dogged.
Yep.
The cheap 2, like basic, is essentially 2 wound on the offense.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little sneezy, a little sick.
Stop it.
That's what my girlfriend says. I sneeze and she goes, stop.
Yeah, don't do that.
Oh, so funny moment. I this is just like a 3D printing story of or like miniature story. So I'm like, I paint little miniatures. I look at little miniatures all the time, and we're just like hanging on the couch, and I'm just like looking at miniatures, and as you do. And she's always like, everyone's always so angry or like fighty. I want some cute ones to paint with you. And I was like, okay. So I start like looking at cute things, and I bring up My Little Pony. I'm like, look, there's all these little My Little Pony. She's like, they look stupid, and I couldn't have been more proud. I just found it really funny.
I'm trying to think now what.
Then we found an angry turtle.
Like cute things to paint. Are we talking just like any models?
Yeah, anything at all.
Oh yeah. I mean, that one's a lot more broad.
I mean, ideally, if it's in a game I play, and then she could paint up my models, and then I'll have to repaint them afterwards.
Wish you could get the relics models, and you can get her the Sackboy British Army.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it doesn't really exist anymore. But there was a game called Relics. So the like red goblin-y crow people that I use every now and again in games, or like the Chocobo Riders. I think I've only really brought it out like once in a game that we've played to use as something else.
I think I've seen pictures of it. I don't know if I've actually seen it in person. It's possible.
There was another faction where they were essentially like Napoleonic era British war like soldiers, but instead of them being soldiers, they were all little puppets, and there's like puppet masters who control their army.
That's fun.
You probably can't even find pictures of that anymore because it's so. Yeah. Yep, it's just gone. Good luck, everybody. It's out there. It existed.
If you say so. I want us not to be trusted.
It's true. Sometimes you forget
that you're a dirty liar. I bet your pants are even on fire.
It's surprising how much Bing and Google Chrome are fighting to the death right now about who gets to be the search engine. Like, my computer is trying to make it where it only ever will use Bing. And if I want to just use Google, you have to like go to Google because it'll default to the other one.
Oh, that's like Apple Maps on my Apple phone. I'm like, I uninstalled you. and it's like you like hover over the address and it opens it up in Apple Maps. It goes, "This is approximately where it is." I'm like, "I know you're still here. You don't lie to me this saying that I've uninstalled you." And I try to just go default program Google Maps. It just won't let me.
I'm actually
for using Apple.
Incredibly sad now that I found it. That it was Tor Gaming in the UK, and they had a game. I don't know where I could. You know what I could do? I could put this in the Discord's chat. This is our Infinity conversation. Of this like random game that was I only played it like once, and the rules were okay. It was like a skirmishy kind of
why are you sad now?
Because it's gone. You can't get these miniatures anymore, and they're cool looking and weird, and like would that I could get myself little angry sack Highlanders. Like you can't. They're just gone.
What, did you post it in Discord?
I did. I put it in the Patreon's chat. Or patrons chat.
Yeah, those guys are actually really sick.
Right?
I don't know if I'd use them, but they look great.
I used the middle group, the
the Kobold guys,
as a Bretonian warband in Mordheim.
Yeah.
Because like their whole there's actually like ladies in waiting too, where they're like little like goblin skexy looking guys.
Wait, they're colonial puppets, but then there's centaurs. What the fuck? What's going on here?
Yes, but there's also the bomber.
This is
don't
gaming.
think too much about it. The game was called Relics, specifically like RELICS. If you just type in Relic, you get different games, and if you type in Relics, you get a different game.
Okay.
But it's out there. I guess it's not out there anymore. But if you can find those miniatures, if anyone happens to like know how to get those, I will
don't tell them.
I will take them off your hands. You feel free to send me a message on something. I think the last time I saw miniatures being posted was quite a while ago. I bet there's probably like a Facebook somewhere where people are selling them.
Is there actually instructions for building Infinity miniatures? They've always been so simple that I've never really needed them. It's like half the fun of building an Infinity miniature. You're like, I don't know. Just like, well, one step at a time. This seems to go here. I'll go here. This seems to go here. Cool. We did it.
I found a Facebook page for this game now, and someone was selling some of the units. And the last post was 45 weeks ago.
Only?
And then comments saying things like,
terrible.
Really missed this game 47 weeks ago. I'd like to buy some Rid End miniatures. No one answered. Posted April 1st, 2022.
Maybe it was an April Fool's joke.
Maybe. I don't know. It sucks. They're super cool. They have so much like charisma. But gone. So let me tell you about Tohaa. Who are also gone the same way.
I've recently did we talk about me acquiring a Tohaa army?
No.
Yeah. So some guy that I've known for a very long time that I just haven't talked to in like, I don't know, like 5 years because /COVID/ I don't know things. But anyways, he's like, I'm selling Tohaa. And I like arrived at his house and I was like, hey, I know you. And it was like, hey, you have a kid now. I'll take these cheap off your hands. Thanks, bye. And so then I have like, I don't know, like 400 or 500 points worth of Tohaa. I don't know if any of them are good. I just stripped them all. I don't know if I needed to strip half of them, but hey, they're stripped. And eventually I'll get, I have literally 4 more models. Actually, no, this isn't actual. This is a 3D printed model. I have 3 more models to paint. And then I'm fully painted up in my Infinity collection. Well, besides these other tags that I've got.
I have at least 4 models to paint.
At least. But anyways, Tohaa. Tell me all about Tohaa. I don't know anything about Tohaa.
So I'll be honest with you. I only know pieces of what's in Tohaa.
You know what Ash has brought to bear against you.
Apparently, that's not the thing to do anymore. Like the thing that he used to play all the time.
Says who?
Yeah, right. But that said, there is a bunch of obnoxious garbage that makes up Tohaa. So they're not as bad as they used to be. It was funny because like I talk about the Steel Phalanx as being like the Noob Crusher faction, where they're just better than you. Like if you go to like let's say you and I both bought starter boxes, right? And neither of us really knew how to play. And I got the Steel Phalanx starter box, and you got any other starter box. And you're like, okay, I'm going to shoot you. And I go, okay. So if I look at the rules here, you're -6 to hit me, and then I get -3 for cover. Do those stack? And it's like, oh, it looks like they do. Okay, so I'm going to shoot you back. So shooting you, I'm -3 for cover, and then +3 for range. So I'm going to hit you on a 12. And you're like, yeah, I hit you on a 5. And then that was just the game. And then I spend all my orders because I'm like, hey, wait a second. I can just use this Hippolyta and give her 10 orders, and she's -6 and really good at fighting and can just kill all your models. Boy, this is fun. And then you play more and you see that like, okay, there you can fight it. You use MSV, you use templates, like there's ways to deal with them. But for a new player against a new player, or a new player even more so against a veteran player, you're just going to get smacked. Like they're the reputation of here's the superhero that's going to go kill you. Now Tohaa is when you know how to play and you have to play against the dumb shit garbage. Because they're like, you know, all the rules that exist for your factions. What if we were exempt from many of them? Oh, you can only have you can only have one Harris and one core. How about just unlimited Harrises?
That seems like the dream, right? Unlimited Harrises. Just everyone gets +1 burst.
What if just everyone could be in them too, in any combination?
All right, let me look at this fire team's chart.
Yeah, it's a fucking headache.
There's only 15 profiles that can fit in the fire teams.
In the generic ones, but then there's also the Rooks and Kriegel. And then there's also 19. The Chaxas.
There's only 19 profiles
that can link.
See, that's very limited, you know?
Yeah. And the naming convention in this faction is obnoxious in my opinion. Kamail, Sakael, Mukael, Kumatael, Keltail, Kosiel, Sukiel, Takiel. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I'm just making noises at this point. Well, the Yu Ching ones are just because I'm not familiar with the language. These aren't based on a language.
How do you know?
At least
you're making fun of some oppressed
that I am aware
right
of. Maybe, but I don't think so.
They're alien. Does them being alien make them any less a person than you? Technically?
Arguably.
Define person.
There you go. The thing with Tohaa is that they have like 2 rule types that are just unique. 3 actually, kind of, depending on what your perspective is on Mercenary Boy Armand, because they have the symbiote armor, which is basically not represented in any other faction with the exception of Armand, and now sort of with the armor, like the battle ravage state that has started to show up more.
Yeah, I always wondered what the symbiote armor was in Armand, because that exists in the other
he's in the other factions. Yeah. So it's essentially the battle ravage state. So like in the way that like the Trip Hammer has the degrading stat line after he's taken 2 wounds.
Yeah.
That's just symbiont armor for everybody. They don't get unconscious. They just they change stats after they've taken a certain number of wounds. Usually it's just you have less BS in armor or just less armor, but it could be all kinds of stuff. So they have symbiont armor, which is kind of a unique thing. Then they have like the big 2, in my opinion, which is the Symbiomates and Symbiobombs. And the Faraware tactics that are both sort of like tools that other factions have, but better. So like, I don't know if we want to do like a Tohaa dive because I don't know enough to like speak to it, but the long and short of it is they act in ways that if you're familiar with the game will make you feel unfamiliar with the game, in that like, oh yeah, you walk around the corner, I'm gonna eraser that guy. Oh, sorry, I'm not a hacker, you can't hit me with that. Oh, sorry, I didn't care, you have wounds, that's all I needed. Or I'm gonna shoot you with my explosive burst 3 missile launcher. Oh, sorry, I'm total immune armor 12. Oh, okay, never mind, you're fine, walk it off, champ.
Wait. So let's just go through Symbiomate and what that means. Because I'm looking at like the Keltar.
Yep.
And everything has Symbiomates / Symbiomate. But let's kind of, what the heck is Symbiomate?
So Symbiomates, let's do Symbiomates because they're the one, in my opinion, that are the most obnoxious. But I'm gonna bring up the rule in the game.
We don't know what we're talking about. Woo! This is the best. Is like Ash is the one who plays it, and we're talking about it without him.
Well, I want to bring it up because again, this is the thing that it doesn't play by the normal. Like everyone else doesn't have this. Okay, so Symbiomate is automatic equipment, and the Symbiomate must be used when the trooper is forced to make a saving roll. What the Symbiomates provides is it gives its user an armor and BTS value of 9, replacing its current profile, and provides total immunity. In addition, it can also be used against comms attacks. When they're forced to make a saving roll, they will perform those saving rolls with an attribute value of 9, applying the total immune state. Any other successful attacks received by the user or weapon rule requiring any saving throws during the same order will also apply the armor and BTS value and the total immunity. It is a single piece of equipment. The Symbiomate will be removed from the game table at the end of the order in which it was used. So during deployment, the Tohaa player will assign 2 of their Keltar specialists' Symbiomates to units that have the transmutation skill. So,
which is a lot.
Anybody essentially who has symbiote armor. I guess that's not actually the requirement, but anyone with symbiote armor has transmutation, so at least all those guys can get it. So you get 2 of these guys, you can put one of them on a model, up to 1, and they essentially gain Arm 9, BTS 9 total immunity against the first time they're required to make a saving throw. What that means in game is, you're at that point when you have to do like, there's a wide open space and you have to walk in the open and be seen by people. You can just do that and be likely to not be harmed in the action of doing it.
So it's just the one order.
But it doesn't matter how many attacks come at you during that order. So if you're in a situation where like the enemy's got a Feuerbach, a missile launcher, and an HMG, and they're all standing, they're all in links, and they're watching the board, and you go, I'm going to stand up with my Gal Rail sniper, and I'm going to shoot that guy over there. And he goes, all right, I'm going to ARO with my 3 fellas, and they're all going to shoot you. Feuerbach's going to use AP plus DA. Missile launcher is going to use blast explosive, and the HMG is going to shoot you. And you're like, I'm going to shoot the HMG. And you shoot him. You just take free hits from the other 2. And so the AP and HMG, or the AP DA from the Feuerbach, which is damage like 15, becomes neither of those, and you're armor 12 in cover. And you make 1 dice roll on a 4+, you're fine. And the missile launcher is basically the same. 1 dice roll, it's like a 6+ because you wouldn't get cover, but still pretty friggin' good.
I guess that works for like coming around corners as well.
Or walking out when you're like, I need to just push that button and I win the game. I walk, I take my second walk to get out of line of fire. You shoot me for free. That's okay. I'm armor 9 total immunity. And guaranteed I have more than one wound because I had to have the transmutation skill.
I can see why that's annoying to do.
Now, it's better now. It did used to be you just counted as passing.
Oh, it just made you immune? You're like,
you
goodbye,
just,
rules?
Yeah, and it used to be only when you failed the armor save. So it was, you'd get shot, you'd roll your armor, and if you fail, you can take off the Symbiomate and count as a pass.
Oh, but if you succeeded, you just keep it.
You just keep
in your
it.
pocket for later.
Yep.
Jesus. Well, it's not those times anymore, so we don't have to talk about it. But the
For
one
sure.
Kiltar can give you 2 Symbiomates. So technically, you can have 4 Symbiomates in your army.
Correct.
Now, is Kiltar the only one with Symbiomate?
I believe so.
Is that an equipment that I can look up? Oh, it is. Yeah, Kiltar is the only one. So what's this Symbio-Bomb?
It's basically a mine, sort of.
Like, does the guy explode? Do you kill yourself?
He's a comms attack, and it allows you to use one of the Ferroware abilities, and it inflicts a -3 mod. So the Symbio Bomb is, you can use Endgame, Eraser, or Mirror Ball, which are the Ferroware tactics that you can look up. These are like what are the states that they cause on you? So you're looking at either BTS saves against Endgame that are AP, burst 2, damage 13. They cause it's the one that just does wounds. Yeah, Endgame just kills you. Eraser.
So it's kind of like Killer Hacker, except wait,
against
can
anyone.
Can you reset against it?
You can. The Symbio Bomb imposes a -3 to your whip against it. But you can like reset as a defense against it because it's a comms attack. Eraser is the second Ferroware. This one is basically it does isolation, damage 14, DA, burst 2. And then the last one is Eclipse Grenades.
That's the Mirror Ball?
In zone of control. Yeah.
Oh, just zone of control, so you don't have to throw it. Wait,
Nope.
do you have to roll for it?
Yeah, you do a whip check.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll be honest, I very rarely see the bombs because there are other guys who have Ferroware. There are no other guys who give you the Symbiomates. And so getting the Symbiomates to be able to buff up, because like you could put it on anyone with transmutation, and you'll notice if you scroll down a bit, the tag, the Gorgos, has transmutation.
I noticed that.
So your armor 7 on him. Now, I think it's kind of wasted on him because he's already got good stats. Maybe you do it if you're going to bring him. You might as well. But like, in my opinion, it should be you hand these out because you have.
Wait, you can put it on a Trip Hammer? It's got transmutation.
Yes. I knew that was going to be relevant at some point. But your Trip Hammer can already get total immunity. So what's the point?
You don't know that. You don't know if you're going to roll a 20 or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's kind of like the shtick of Tohaa, is they have weird quote unquote hacking that doesn't follow any of the normal hacking rules. But does it count as a comms attack still though?
It is, yeah. But
okay.
the requirement is that it has to target a thing that has wounds.
Right.
So it doesn't work against tags and remotes, but it works against any infantry type.
Yeah. Spam the Dakinis and the beta and the remotes.
Honestly,
be immune to Tohaa's shenanigans.
The Tohaa list that I always see is like 2 or 3 individual support guys. Like they have some sappers and stuff like that. And then you see 3 or 4 Harrises. And then the point man of each of those Harrises gets a Symbiomate.
Hey, wait a minute. They get access to normal hacking too.
Yeah.
What the?
Yeah, this is just in addition to.
I think it'd be cooler if they were just unique and they didn't have the other stuff. But I guess the Ferroware is never through repeaters. It's just through your zone of control, right?
Yep. But I mean, hey, you can have Ferroware Eraser on your 5-point delegate. And so you could just have your 5-point irregular order be zone of control, DA isolation.
Seems fair and balanced.
Infinite ammo too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Eat that, Jammer, you OP garbage. We're gonna just give it to these guys now, and you don't have it.
I wonder why these guys are out of print. They're like, no more of this. We put ourselves into a corner where we don't know how to develop rules for these guys anymore, balance them. So we're just gonna erase them slowly. By time, let the cruel step of time erase them from our history.
I don't know. It kind of sucks because they're cool models. Like I like the they have like it looks like cabling all over them. Like it's like a flesh armor instead of like armored plates like you get in the other factions.
It's gonna be fun and easy to paint in that, like either
contrast paints will absolutely
contrast paint / overbrushing, dry brushing is just gonna be super easy.
But it bums me out because like I think they're cool as like a faction. They got too many unique rules that are obnoxious to play into. And like it really sucks when you're playing against them or when you watch someone play against them who doesn't know what they do. Like I know Infinity is built around a lot of like and then this boy reveals, and I'm gonna die. But when you play against Tohaa, he can just tell you what he has, and you're gonna be like, I don't really understand what that means. Even if you've got an understanding of the game, like you and I could play a game and we'd be like, this is my HMG, this guy's got MSV, these are 2 camo markers. And you're like, yeah, all right, I'm gonna have to deal with those. Here's how I'm gonna figure it out. And then they turn around and they're like, this is the Symbiomate, this one has 2 bombs. These guys are a Harris, these guys are a Harris, these guys are a Harris. And then this person has Mirror Ball and this one has a Racer, okay?
Oh, what?
Right? And then you go to play and it gets crazy.
I feel like during my training montage, you kind of put me through all the crazy shit that other things can do, but except for Tohaa.
Yeah, I think the only 2 that I haven't done is like the Tohaa stuff and like a 5-man paint train.
That's true. I have not experienced a 5-man paint train yet.
It's not what it used to be, but we could. I got one like a list made up that I think is pretty solid. 13 orders. I played against a person who used the Keel San heavy infantry guy in Tohaa recently. Not recently, but the last time I played against Tohaa. And it's brutal trying to like kill that guy with a Symbiomate. Because even without a Symbiomate, he's durable as hell. Armor 4, metachemistry, I think he rolled extra movement. What did he roll? No, it was that was what it was. It was +1 armor bioimmunity is what his roll was. So he's armor 5, BTS 6 with bioimmunity, and Symbiomate. And he has 2 wounds and then 1 wound when he transforms. So he had effectively 4 wounds because you had to hit him once to knock off his Symbiomate because he's armor 12 total immune at that point. And then he switches over to his regular armor 4 or 5 in this case, which makes him armor 8. And he's just fighting you. And he's suppressed.
Is he heavy infantry? Can you hack him?
He is heavy infantry. You can hack him. He's BTS 6.
Is he veteran?
He's not.
We'll get him. We'll just roll lots of dice at him.
Yep. You could try for that. He's kind of expensive. He's 46 points.
I've had success with you have the big crazy guy? I'm just going to throw dice to immobilize him.
It's a chance. Now, you better hope that he doesn't have his delegate standing next to him. Or you're coming through a repeater net. Otherwise, his delegate's going to do it to you. And his delegate was 5 points. And it doesn't matter what you were more expensive than he was. I don't think he can link, though, in vanilla Tohaa. Because there is a Tohaa subsection. The Spiral Core.
Wait, really?
Yes.
How did I not know this?
Because the Spiral Core is a normal faction that has Tohaa models in it.
Oh, it's the NI. Got it. It's the NA3 faction.
Keltair Specialist still make an appearance.
Only one.
Only one.
So max of 2 Symbiomates. But hey,
Correct.
that's pretty good. It's 28 points for the Symbiomates, but it could be worth it.
It's always worth it. Did you notice that he's also Chain of Command?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, you pay 28 points for Chain of Command in other factions. Here you're paying 28 points for Chain of Command, and you're also just handing out 2 extra wounds to people.
Hooray. I mean, it's hits, right? So you could just hit him with, like, I hit you with a pistol. You were going to save this anyways.
It's true, but it's an order, right?
It is an order. It is an order. I guess how would you play against that? Like, what you're talking, like, yeah, how do you play against that?
You dump MGs into them.
Yeah.
Or template weapons, and you just make them roll it, and you're just like, template. It's hard because they can trade the wound, and you usually can't, but...
Right. And
so
if they dodge and they successfully dodge, they don't have to activate the symbiote armor, right?
Because they aren't required to roll a save. That's correct.
Oh, yeah. But then they dodge and you get to put another template on them, or just ignore them. And then their first activation is they'll take a template hit, and then the symbiote armor is gone before it gets to come and hit you.
The thing I like is Spiral Core. They've got the Kyutan imposters, so they are impersonation emitter guys or EM mines, which is pretty nightmarish for many factions. You don't want that to walk into your deployment zone at the start of the game.
Oh, impersonation. Yeah, I totally forgot.
They're not very good impersonation. They're only imp 2, so 1 discovery and no mods.
Wait.
Good enough though.
Wait, who? But do they start on the board? Or they start? What? Wait. Who are these people?
At the very bottom of Spiral Core, special trained troops. Red icon, Kyutan imposters.
Kyutan imposters.
KII.
Yeah, I got it.
TAN IMP OS TER S.
Oh, I clicked on Janstar.
Damn it!
Which is also a Kyutan imposter. And the AVA is shared with the Kyutans. Interesting.
Yeah.
So they're kind of pricey. Oh, impersonation M2. Okay, that's how it goes. I thought the impersonation skill allowed you to do the forward deployment and everything.
It does. And Imp2 does allow that as well. The only difference for them is that they start, you know how with the guys you've played against where it flips over after the first attempt?
Yeah.
They start in that flipped over state.
Yeah. I get it. But it's just kind of impersonation is implied that you get Imp 1. And then in brackets it specifies Imp 2. I do like that. For all of my criticisms of Infinity's rules, it is neat that they have that kind of rule where it's like, it's this rule with this modification, and so you actually have a huge variance of the rules to make things flavorful and unique without having to write individual rules for each one or like all these extra stuff. You just put one thing in the brackets around it.
I'm pretty sure there's a guy out there with surprise attack -6. I don't remember who it is, but same kind of idea.
Just these unique little snowflakes floating around. This Seraph looks really cool, by the way.
Seraph is a cool tag.
That's a really cool tag.
I played against you and you possessed him.
Yes, I did.
And then you forgot and left him just standing there, and I'm like, all right, he turns around.
Yeah, I was like, what do I do with the possessed tag? Do I just run it back in your deployment? It's like, no, the correct answer was leave him in zone of control of my hacker. So the moment you repossess him, he can't do anything without having to dodge or reset. So I'll waste at least one order. But then I didn't.
Put my pain train listed here. All right, here. Jump over to military orders. Talk about the list I'll play against you the next time we play.
Military orders is a panel faction. Okay, what am I looking at? Heavy infantry?
At one point, yeah. Okay.
What's the fire team?
So the fire team is Joan of Arc,
Is this the Crusade Fire team?
Yes.
Knight Hospitallers. Which version
no,
2
sorry,
or version 1?
No. Yeah, Crusader. Version 1. The Lieutenant +1 Swick, 45 points.
And she has Inspiring Leadership. I forgot
She
about
sure
that.
does.
So that's every irregular order becomes regular in your army, and
Correct.
you can use your
Lieutenant
order as a free coordinated order
that she has to be a part of. But yeah,
that she has to be a part
of. So then we've got some Hospitallers. So click on that Crusade Fire team.
Is she lieutenant?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You used to have to be the lieutenant. I don't know if that's still.
I think you have to be lieutenant to use Inspiring Leadership. I don't think it counts unless you're the lieutenant.
That's definitely true. I wasn't sure because it used to be that you were required
you have to be
the
lieutenant.
lieutenant.
I just looked it up.
There you go.
Okay, so Joan of Arc lieutenant. Then we're looking at Knight Hospitallers.
So first up, we've got HMG Boy, 1.5 and 37 points.
Yep.
Then we've got a 29-point boarding shotgun.
Uh-huh.
Then we've got a 33-point doctor.
With the combi rifle?
With the combi rifle, yep. And that's our Hospitallers. Now we're going to go look for Deferzen.
That counts as a Knight Hospitaller.
Look at that. So we're not bringing the lieutenant option for him.
That makes sense. He's pretty good. He's a hacker and he's a Trinity hacker. He's with 14. I mean, he's a lot of points.
Yep.
And he's got the Spitfire. So you got the heavy machine gun, the long range. You got the multi rifle, you got heavy, Spitfire, multi, boarding shotgun.
Yep.
And a doctor.
Yep.
And everyone is 2 wounds?
Yep.
Does anyone have no wounded cap? Oh no,
Joan
does.
Just Joan. The other ones are all just 2 wounds.
Okay, so you got your hacker, you got your killer hacker, you got your doctor, you got all the range bands, and everyone is DS 14, 15 on Joan. Everyone has stealth?
Everyone has stealth.
Ooh.
They also all have martial arts 2 or 3. And they're martial arts 21, 22, or 23. With all of them having either DA, AP plus shock, or explosive close combat weapons.
Is there any smoke? No, you don't get smoke in Pano.
You don't get smoke in Pano.
You don't need it.
All right, so that's the link. So what do you build around the link to make the link not garbage?
Because you only have 105 points left.
You scroll on down to Mulebot.
Oh no, I erased it. Stupid. I meant to click another thing. Whatever. Mulebot.
Evo hacking Mulebot. 15 points, half a Swick.
Oh, and that's to give it the firewall.
Firewall on your link team.
Firewall and heavy sport. Or heavy infantry.
That pushes all of them to BTS 9.
That's nice.
Next, you're going to get a curator, the military order curator.
He's light infantry, medium infantry.
Light infantry. He's an engineer.
Hey, you could take Raven Eye.
Oh, guess who's coming after the curator? There's a Palbot and then the Raven Eye.
So the curator, he's the engineer?
Engineer, and then I give him a little Palbot, which is the 3-point help you engineer.
So if you get immobilized, you could try to run up, help him. Oh, only with 12. Ugh.
Yeah, he's more there to support.
Yeah.
He also,
of course.
He also has mines.
Okay, that's not terrible.
Yeah.
No mine layer though.
No mine layer. But then we're gonna bring a Raven Eye.
Yeah, that makes sense.
12-point mine layer, forward observer.
You can't take him as a lieutenant. Interesting.
No, not here. Then we're gonna go to the Tech B maintenance battalion.
This is
light armor.
Wait, what the heck are these guys? Oh, they're like irregular, but they're regular with Joan.
5 points.
5 points. You only get 1, but hey.
Yep. Then we're gonna get a war corps.
3-point regular order.
3-point regular order. Yep.
Wait, do you go for the 360 or the 6 cents?
360.
That makes sense actually.
360 flashballs. It's great.
It doesn't make 6 cents, but it makes sense.
Yeah,
Hardy,
exactly.
hard.
And stun pistols. But we're not done yet because we still have 50 points left. So we're gonna go up to the Croziers or Croziers. Coadjutor. I don't know how to fucking say these. The bad version of the order sergeants. Grab a Blitzen EM mine Crozier and a paramedic. 13 points apiece.
Okay.
And then we're gonna get Indigo Brother Konstantinos FTO for 24 points. And that's a Harris. Oh, Connie, you're so good.
He's, yeah, multi-spectre level 2 with Mem 3. You just got a combi rifle. Oh, assault pistol.
He's linked. So his assault pistol shoots 5 times.
It's pretty good. That's
NSV2.
That's as good as that Raichu pilot.
Yep.
Same BS.
But this one's armor 2 with mimetism.
Fine.
And also he's generico specialist operative.
Yeah, that's always nice. Except when it's not, when you're like trying to hide your specialist operatives. I can't believe how many people made at Colder and Carbonite for like everyone like teched for the last mission. And I was like, oh, I thought it was like, what's going on here? I did not have a good list for the last mission. I had a decent list, and then I didn't bring it because I was in my head about playing you. But that's what really screwed me. I feel like if I brought a better list, I could have got like 5th place instead of 14th.
Yeah, if you played better too.
Also, if I played better. Also, if I rolled better. Also, if my opponents played worse and rolled worse. But besides all those things, I probably could have got like 1st place early. Let's be honest.
I mean, it checks out. If everyone was worse and you were better, then maybe
1st place, 100%.
So yeah, that's my Joan list.
That's pretty cool. I like taking use of the crappy little war core tech B kind of thing to just get really cheap regular orders.
Yep.
Which is nice.
And they just hide. Like everybody who hasn't the 5-man team kind of like ducks and covers. If I'm going second, I'm just gonna probably null deploy and let my opponent run at me. Because as soon as you get into like short range against most of these guys, with the exception of like the HMG, even then they've got like pistols and stuff that they can use at short range. And the big thing is like Jones shoots at BS-21.
I guess yeah, that's pretty good. I guess the worry is what if they get like a repeater down next to your 5-man and start isolating them, or and then like I guess you could hide your engineer pretty well.
Well, you just put the PAL bot nearby too, right?
But yeah. But what if they kill your PAL bot, or I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you could always lose. But the other thing too is Deferzen can just wake up, right? Because he's gonna walk out with Trinity BS-14 or Whip 14.
Yeah, he's good on his own for sure.
So like unless they kill him, and he's 2 wounds, BTS-6, like he's hard to kill, and then he's Trinitying you back, right? So even through the repeater with the -3, he's still on a 14, which is as good or better than a lot of hackers.
I guess that's true. I mean, ultimately, you can get the repeater so it doesn't get him, but get some other people in it. But then it's still scary because you can get up, even as a Harris, that's a scary, come out and murder you. It's not as scary. Man, 21 is so high, +6.
Even
assuming you're
guys,
in cover, you're at, but still, that's 18. Dang.
All of them are hitting on 17s against people in cover.
That's actually so good.
Except for the boarding shotgun, who hits on 20s when you're in cover.
So you're in cover. I have 0 fail state. Good luck.
Usually I actually would walk him into the open to get them out of cover and shoot on 23s.
Just walk in the open.
Because then he's 3 shots with a boarding shotgun with +3 on the dice rolls. So the minimum I can roll is a 4, and I crit on 17s.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And like, yeah, some people will have template weapons, but most of the time they've only got one shot on those template weapons. So I can't die. At worst, I take a wound.
Then you run into a heavy flamethrower. Son of a gun.
Yeah, that happens. Sometimes you die. But if I'm close enough that I'm hitting you with the boarding shotgun, things are going well.
Very, very well. Very well.
And also, if all else fails, Joan is also there. And her nanopulsar, her ability to go into melee and get extra bursts, and just multi-rifles are good. Like, multi-rifle doesn't really have a bad range unless you're outside of 16, which, hey,
that's
again,
a lot of range.
if
doesn't have a bad range unless you're outside of 16.
Even with that, she still shoots you on 12s in her link up to 32, right?
Yeah, no,
she's as good as like the better version of line infantry with negative mods stacked against her.
Yeah, that's always fun.
Yeah, and her multi-rifle has +1 damage, so it's damage 14 DA or AP or shock. Pretty good.
I have a bunch of little pieces. I don't know where they go. Oh, they stack on the little bot.
And then group 2, you either do objectives or Konstantinos just travels around with his group putting down EM mines.
Good old mines. You know what I haven't fought against is like in a minefield. Everyone talks about, oh yeah, you can do this against a minefield. Do this, they're good against minefields. I'm like, I have never played against a minefield.
I found minefields too easy to deal with. There's
They
too many
are
factions that have like mega dodge guys that are just like, I run into 8 of your mines and die. Okay. All the mines go off. Like if you think about you playing your O12 and somebody's got the 6/6 little remote.
Yeah.
And how many mines can you get within 8 inches of with 12 inches of movement?
A decent amount.
A lot. And then it's like, oh, he's dead. Oh no.
That's actually what I did against the Fast Pandas. Against the Nomads I played. They had like the 4 deploying guys with the Fast Panda guys. I'm like, ah, crap. What do I do now? I'm like, wait.
I walked 12 inches across the front line.
I have 7-point guys. Go, suicide. And he's like, what are you doing with them? I'm like, I'm just running. Whee! And he's like,
yep.
Oh.
Yeah, that's my thing about the minefields is like they're really easy to deal with. Never mind if you have like Pupniks or like anybody with a dodge plus, or there's lots of stuff that's good against them. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like what are lists that I'm concerned when I play against them. I have only played against a Sunduck Butt one time, so I'm kind of like interested to see what that's like.
I guess you're so like intimately familiar with it now that you kind of know the limitations of it. It's still annoying to deal with, I'm sure, but
I mean, I don't know. What do you think? What are your solutions? You've played against them.
Sunduck Butt?
Yeah.
Mimetism outside of 16 inches. Or is it 24?
Depends on the gun. If it's the viral ones that I usually bring, 16. If he's switched to Spitfire or Fearbach, it's further.
Yeah, I feel like they're not as scary with Spitfire or Fearbach.
I think the Fearbach's pretty scary.
Oh, it can be for sure.
It doesn't get the extra burst though.
You can't get it. Oh yeah. That's the reason why it's not as scary.
Because it's just 2 shots,
which is still scary.
That's scary, but it ain't 4. But the Spitfire is 4 up to 24. I should try the Spitfire at some point. Like I've thought about doing both, where you have like one of each of them.
One in the more in the back line.
Yeah, but you like mix it so you can't tell which one's in the back and which one's in the front. So it isn't clear if maybe they're both in the front or both in the back.
I think the reason why the viral rifle is so scary is because you can put it in a place where you can't see it from super far away necessarily. And so you kind of have to get close to it. And then it has the chain rifles as well.
The viral rifle is also just viral weapons are just scary.
Yeah, and they're like a perfect answer to the dogs and bears that you'll run into occasionally.
Yeah, but nobody likes that. any DA weapon, even especially against BTS, is off.
Yeah, but because they have total immunity, you have to have viral. But no, yeah, you're right. Nobody likes it.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like even the big guys, like one of the things that I ran into, I think almost the first game that I played the Sunduk Butt was an Asawira who's BTS 9. And so he's in cover with BTS 12 against the viral rifles. And I'm like, I might have miscalculated how to deal with this.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. I was like, yeah, against BTS is great until you reach those guys. And then what do you do?
In that case, I just rolled dice.
I'm still rolling 4 dice.
Yeah.
I don't care if I can't hurt you if I can just win dice rolls.
And hey, you there's a failure. You could fail. Like, yeah, it's on a 1 or a 2, but hey, you're rolling 2 or 4 dice or 5 dice.
Isn't that bad?
It's damage 14 and he's armored 12.
Yeah. That's brutal.
Yeah. And that's what it's like shooting against a Tohaa with a Symbiomate.
Just one order.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like Sunday's a go ahead for War Room.
Yes. Board game time.
Has anyone else played War Room? I'm talking to you guys like we're on stream. This wonderful Axis and Allies on Crack game where one of our buddies has bought it and we've wrangled up 6 people to play on Sunday. And so by the time this podcast has come out, we'll have played. And we can talk about whether the Axis or Allies. But Owen has insisted that he's not on the same team as me. But I think we're just I think we're only random. We're randomly drawing. So I feel like we would dominate.
Yes.
It's like me, you, and Chris. We just destroy everybody.
Do you know if he has the like expansion version? Am I gonna get the little push stick to move my guys?
It's 2nd edition. I don't know. But I want the push stick. I feel like the original didn't have the push sticks?
No. They were like an add-on or something.
3D print some push sticks.
Maybe.
But ask Chris, and if he doesn't, you got to 3D print some.
One guy 3D printed miniatures to replace all the stacks.
Jesus. That's a lot.
That's a lot. Even just to keep them organized.
Yep. It's insane to me how, like, I mean, I go to great lengths to create some cool miniatures sometimes, but like what people do for board games, I'm like, but you play this like once a year.
It's true.
It's like Steam games. People just can't stop buying. Board games is the same problem.
Yep.
People are idiots. I'm speaking to all of you out there. You know who you are. You're an idiot. Stop buying board games. You're not playing them. Public service announcement. And now that I've alienated 90% of our listeners, I've done the same.
All I'm saying is buy all the things. Don't stop.
That's true. That's what I'm doing. I'm buying all the Infinity. I'm like, I don't even need all this stuff. I have a decent amount of Pano now. I have 3 Pano tags. I have Pano remotes. That's it. I'm just going to collect all the tags. Slowly but surely.
I like it. Get them all. Yeah, tags are cool. It's funny. I like pushed really hard to like make a whole bunch of tags. And then it was like, well, now everybody's doing it. What am I going to do now?
Like, it's not cool if everyone's doing it.
Here I was just trying to make tags work. And turns out they did.
I mean, they have a weak weakness too, right? If you print the right thing. Ah, crap. I need to print more. I thought I had more. Dang it. I need more base covers for my 55 mil.
Do they have weaknesses?
Yeah, you can just kill them.
Yeah, but that's the answer to everything.
Right. So the more points things are, the just kill them is sadder because they're like, oh, they just died. You know?
See that? All right, I have another 4X game for you to get.
Son of a... We don't even play enough Age of Empires.
Age of Wonders 4 has come out.
I saw that.
Did you play the old Age of Wonders?
No. I played Age of Mythology, I think?
Completely different.
Obviously.
I played Age of Wonders, the original one. I want to say in like 2000.
Wait,
Might have even.
What number is this? Age of Wonders 5 or Age of Wonders 2? Because it failed so hard the first time.
No. Age of Wonders, the 1999 video game.
Right. But what's the new one that came out?
Age of Wonders 4.
Oh, it's 4. Okay. So it had a little run. Okay.
Age of Wonders Planetfall came out and it failed. They tried to do like a sci-fi version and it didn't go well. But Age of Wonders, the original game, was a wild ride as like an alternative to the Heroes of Might and Magic series. And so you basically build a wizard king at the beginning of the game. There's like 6 or something spheres of magic, and basically you pick 3 or 4. But if you pick one, you can't pick its alternative. So like if you take fire, you can't take water. If you take light, you can't take dark. And you can combine them to get different types of spells as you go throughout the game, or you can be like a pure of one of them and get better, like crazier spells in that specific type. And you travel around like building an empire and doing all this stuff, and then you find out that it's like crazy detailed, where there's like the relationship statuses between the populations of the places that you own, and like there's not just an underground, but there's a second layer of underground, and like some of the spells can like wildly change the way the world is set up. I don't know. It blew my 2000s mind in RTS fashion as an alternative to Total Annihilation.
Oh, but it's an RTS?
Sorry, not an RTS, but like a turn-based strategy. It had the same sort of thing as Gladius does, where you could have simultaneous turns as well.
Oh, okay.
See, the problem is now you try and look up Age of Wonders, the first one, and the images of it are just like buried because of the sequel games came out, and they all look nicer. I think my favorite
about that stupid game.
My favorite part of Age of Empires 1 is all of the audio sounds for like the characters in game were stock sounds. You'll know what they are the moment, like the second you hear that, like ooh. It's great. It's great. Anyway, so that came out. I might get it. We shall see.
So, new version of 40K coming out.
Yes.
Playing NIDS.
I might actually finally collect the Spacemans, like the new ones. I've not had a Space Marine army since I worked at Mini Wargaming. And there's been at least one new model that has come out in that time.
At least one new.
I mean, yeah, at least one. And so I'm interested to try and play them again. And as far as I've seen, like I've been pretty actively following the news on what's coming. It looks like it'll be the case of the game's fun for a while. Like they're gonna simplify it and make it less obnoxious to try and play.
Well, at least for a few weeks.
Honestly, it's just the list building. The game itself was never that bad, but like I always used to make jokes like challenging people who are big fans of 40K and being like, can you build your list on a piece of paper? And the answer was like no most of the time.
You never really could though.
You definitely could at one point, or at least other games.
Right, I could. That's how I used to always do it. You just write it all out.
And then it got bad enough that you needed
Spreadsheet.
apps. Like you need like you need Battle Scribe and stuff.
What was that first one that came out? It was like some Wolfram or something. No, not Wolfram Alpha, but there was a one that everyone used. This was like end of 4th edition, 5th edition.
I don't remember. Like as an army builder?
Yeah.
You sure it wasn't just Battle Scribe?
It wasn't Battle Scribe. Battle Scribe did not exist.
Oh, there was the Blue Wolf one.
Blue Wolf, that's the one.
Yeah, I think you had to pay for that though.
They had it free a little bit, and then there was like partially free.
Lone Wolf. Yeah. Lone Wolf is what it was called.
Yeah. And then, because Matt bought a version, so I just used his license. Yes. Work license.
There it is, with that horrendous looking blue on blue.
Yeah. It's all just coming back. Horrible. Horrible. Oh. I go back to Infinity Army Builders, pretty decent.
Yeah.
Come a long ways.
It's funny because like the other games, like we talked about it before about the army building. A lot of games have not caught on to the Infinity, like
I guess so I guess what I'm curious, and I never asked before, is how long has the Infinity Army Builder been the way it is?
At least all of 3rd edition and now into this edition. And I feel like it existed in 2nd edition, but I can't remember now.
Because when did 3rd edition come out?
Years and years ago.
Did you start in the middle of 3rd edition?
I started like end of 2nd edition. And I don't remember a time without the app. Or at least like, maybe not the app, but like the web builder, army builder.
So like a decade at least.
Yeah, we're looking at a long time.
Yeah.
Just not like it like suddenly showed up.
So definitely ahead of their time. And even still?
Even still, it's so good. And the crazy thing to me is like how much could this possibly cost to maintain? And how much interest does it drive in your game? Right? Like,
honestly, browsing through and building lists on my phone is like one of the funnest things to do. And when you're trying to do it, even in Battle Scribe or whatever, it's just so clunky.
Even in games like the War Room one, where it was a paid app and was relatively easy to navigate, it's still like you had to pay for it, and there was like there's a bar that you have to rise. Whereas this one, it's just
it was buggy at first.
Yeah, and everything's gonna be buggy. I'm okay with like mistakes being made and stuff like that. For me, it's like you have to pay for it, and it doesn't work all that great. And then the other ones, like the free ones that are out there for big games like Warhammer and stuff, they're not like their UI is kind of shit. And so you want to look at like you're gonna build a Warhammer list. But if you want to see the stats of the creature that you're trying to add to your list, you have to like view the army list, which is a like separate PDF that it loads, and then you can go back and adjust the list. Whereas here, it's just like pick any unit. Here's all of its potential abilities.
So this is, I'm going to go back to the Malifaux app because there's one thing I didn't mention about it when we talked about it last time, where you can fight each other. I guess the War Machine app had it too.
This app has it.
Does it?
Did you ever click the play button in the top right corner?
What? Okay, whoa. Where is this app?
So get your army. Now, it doesn't link with another person.
Ah, see?
Is that what you wanted?
Yeah.
The reason why you couldn't is because your info is hidden in this game.
Right, but if there be a way, because not all of it's hidden, though. I guess
that's fair.
No, I guess you're right, but no.
It would be, you'd give things away though, right? Like, I don't know. Maybe you could figure out a way to do it, but
like, for example, maybe not give the points value, but you'd give all the information that they're supposed to have that available for them to see. And with camo markers, I guess you could mark at the beginning of the game what's in camo or not. And then when they reveal, you'd have to mark it in the app so they can see the profile then, which I guess could be a little tedious. But just having the ability to like look at your opponent's stuff and be like, and not have to ask all the time, like all the different things, or just Or during their turn when they're moving
yeah.
around, you can just take a look at different profiles if you're not familiar with it, instead of having to open it up separately and just kind of bounce back and forth.
Right.
I feel like that'd be super nice. And then with scoring, being able to score on the app. But then it opens up that, like, how we were talking about, like, objectives and like cards and stuff, of like making it easy for people to share pools and stuff of just kind of interacting with each other.
I would like a tab in the army builder that is the scenarios.
Yeah, why isn't the scenarios in the army builder? Because they're not in the army builder at all.
Nope.
You have to have like third-party Android app.
Well, you need a PDF reader.
Yeah,
but I actually don't care for Comlog because it doesn't, like, it's not always accurate against what's on the website. And
I think it's pretty accurate.
It's pretty accurate.
But I guess if anything's off.
Is it always pretty accurate? Like, I don't know.
I don't use it, so.
The fact that there's a free service, like, it's literally just download a PDF. Like, it's not that hard. It's not like I'm asking you to go buy a tournament pack or a $40 chapter approved book. Like,
but at the same time, like, just having all the rules like condensed, Comlog's really nice for that. Assuming they're correct, because then you can just see everything. While the PDF is like, you know, sometimes some of the missions are like 3 pages. You're like going up and down, and what is this in there and this in there. So that's annoying. That's annoying.
I mean, maybe the new ITS, right? Maybe it makes it a little bit different, but
if you're listening, Corvus Belli, haga lo que quiero. That's my message. Do what I want.
There you go.
I spoke Spanish, so I have an instant in. Man, my Spanish is so rusty. I'm like, oh, I'm fluent in Spanish. And I'm like, I don't think I'm fluent in Spanish anymore. I have not practiced in a long time. I kind of want to go to Spain now. I think this year they're having the Blood Bowl World Championships, but apparently I need like a team of 6 to go. So that would be fun. But that's in Spain. I mean, it's in a pretty cool city in Spain that you just like hang out in Spain, but then play a bunch of Infinity and then use centimeters instead of inches. I always thought that was so curious. Because it's not exact, right? But if everyone's playing the same, then it's fine. You know?
I've had that argument about base sizes. But it might matter what size of base you're on. But if you play it consistent rules, I'm not sure if it does that much.
No. I guess the ratio of base, because like it's the 25 to the 40 or to the 55.
The only stipulation I would make is that you can never be on a smaller base than you start on, but you can get as big as you want. Because like it's only a negative. It only hurts you to have a bigger base. That's
true. So why would you? Is there any situation where you would want a bigger base? No, right?
Hacker?
The hacker you get a bigger.
But like, how crazy are we talking? Control? Am I going to be on like a 6-inch pie plate and like?
But then you can't deploy depending on the thing.
And you can't move.
It can't exist. And everyone can see me from every angle.
Yeah, as soon as anyone can look down at all, they can see the back of my base somewhere. So like,
but if you have like some like 360 visor, like beefy boy, then like guarding your back line, you're like, I put him on suppression. And you just like cover everything. You're like, you can't see past him because he's too big.
Yeah. I don't know.
Technically, would you have to declare your base size before, or could you have like sticky tack and like a bunch of bases, and you just kind of like measure out your deployment zone? You're like, okay, this is max size. Here we go, and just stick it on. Because there'd be people who'd be doing that. Yeah, I would.
I think that a lot of games wouldn't actually be harmed that much.
Well, we've proven that with like more time. We all just chose our own base sizes, and it was whatever, and it's fine.
Yeah. Warhammer Fantasy, you'd probably have trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. But Warhammer Fantasy, there's some like jank rules when you're reforming, like free movement.
Kind of.
Kind of. No, there's crazy jank rules.
I don't remember them anymore. It's been too long. Missed that game.
There's with the goblins, you could teleport a unit, and when you teleported them, you could put them in any formation you wanted. You just place the first guy, the front left corner guy, in any orientation that the same amount of inches. And so if you like had a group of 50 that went like 8 inches backwards, then you could like teleport the front guy, whatever how many inches, turn him around, and then make a column of 1 going back and go, and you could just reach anywhere on the whole board. You could get goblins there.
Yep.
And that matters because then they had fanatics in them. And they go woo, 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 jumping out. You could hit it whatever you wanted.
Yep.
I never really used that rule because it seemed weird. I was like, this seems dumb.
It wasn't great either. Because the way steadfast and stuff worked, you're like, I did it. I hit you with those spinny boys and they killed 10 models. And he's like, okay, I charge your 1 goblin in the rear.
And they all go away.
And then they all die.
Yeah, but you just bring like 20 goblins. You just use barely any.
Uh-huh.
They would definitely die.
Right? And then it's like, well, why don't I just bring a good unit to teleport?
Nah.
Now we're all the way back.
Oh. But Infinity.
What Infinity?
Oh, Infinity. Wait, what else can we talk about? Should pineapple belong on pizza?
Other than Infinity?
Yeah. We've done our Infinity segment. If you don't care about other things or us, you should turn off the podcast now. Okay.
We had multiple Infinity segments. Then we talked about Warhammer and video games.
Yeah. Age of Empires. Good game? It's a great game.
I think Age of Empires is great. We should play Age of Empires.
We should play it right now. We'll just talk about the game as it's going.
We'll narrate the game.
Yeah. I'm loading up. I'm not even joking.
Okay.
But pineapple on pizza, what's your opinion?
I have no feelings about what people put on their pizza.
What about what you put on your pizza?
Dude, I'll eat any kind of pizza. I've had peanut butter and gummy bear pizza.
And?
It's all right.
As expected.
I don't actually recommend it.
Look, there's a peanut butter and jelly with Captain Crunch hot dog that you can get on 17.
I was aware of that. Yes. I did know that existed.
It's pretty good, actually. It's pretty good. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would.
There's a pizza buffet place somewhere in Miami that will make you any kind of pizza.
Wait. Didn't you go to some restaurant that had like fully automated robots?
Yes.
How was that? Explain to me how that worked and how it functioned.
Not as well as you would want. So like you go to a restaurant, there's a waitress there who basically just directs you to the table. At the table, you've got a little like PDF menu, scanner item, whatever. You do your order on your phone, just scanning it, or on the tablet. I think they have one there. Maybe it's just your phone. I don't remember now. And the idea is in the back, they have these big robot arms over the the grills and such. And the idea is that they're doing like all kinds of like chicken wings, chicken bites, burgers, stuff like that. And the robot hands put the food together, and then they put it on a little robot who drives the tray over to your table, and then you tap to pay on the robot and you get your meal, and off there you go.
What if you don't pay?
I mean,
do the robots stop you?
There is one woman there who at least will watch you not pay.
What if you just went to tap and pretended to pay with like your health card?
The robot asks. And then it thanks you after you paid and like smiles and drives off.
Is it hackable?
Probably.
Almost certainly so.
Well, I mean, the reality was the robots in the back room weren't working, and so it's just a dude back there cooking food. And then
obviously
the robot, well, no, because like that's the thing is like they clearly have it set up. Like they didn't pay to get these things put in to not use them, but they clearly didn't care enough to maintain them because they don't work now. And so
at one point, do you think they did work?
Why not? It's not that hard to program. You didn't in high school. You didn't program a robot arm to do a task.
I mean, cooking a meal and putting on a plate properly. That's decent technology.
I don't think the bar is that high for grab handful of chicken nuggets, toss them in fryer.
Did you order chicken
on.
nuggets?
No, I didn't. I ordered all kinds of like they have this like 6 kind of chicken wing dish meal. It was chicken nuggets of all different flavors. Chicken something. I don't know, man. I just eat the thing. It was pretty good. I would recommend it. At least as like a let's all sit down and have like a party meal of all of these different like spicy kind of chicken wings or chicken pieces of animal. Okay, that's what we ate. I could see that it's doable, but honestly, it ended up being more of a like, if you really don't want to interact with a server,
if you hate people,
it doesn't ask for a tip. So there's that.
I'm sold. I am sold.
Yeah, you can go and it will just serve you food and charge you for it. And you pay for the food. You don't pay for the person who walked over once and dropped off the food and said, thank you. What's your perspective on tipping?
My tipping?
How bad does a server have to be for you to not tip?
I will always tip because I feel bad for them, not because I think they deserve it.
Brutal. That's worse.
I know. It's horrible. I hate doing it. Every time it feels bad, but it feels worse not tipping because I know they have shit jobs.
I don't know, man. I don't think it's that bad a job.
I would hate it. I hate dealing with food. I would never work in the food industry. I mean, never is never, but you know, I would never choose. It would have to be a desperate situation for me to choose, like, or pay a crap ton of money for me to work in the food industry.
Yeah, but then you hear these like my wife's sister was a server for a while, and she made like $800 a night because of tips.
Yeah, you could. Like, but then you have to like perform. You're like a monkey. You're like, look at me, like me, tip me.
Hey, fun fact: you have to do that in every customer-facing organization you work for. Everybody wears the mask.
That's true. That is very true.
Like, you're gonna tell me when a customer comes in, you're not gonna be like, "Hey, how you doing? Let's what are you interested in? Let me see what I can do to help you out." Blah blah blah. And it's like, this is the same. This is the same as what they do. The only difference is we made some weird laws so we can pay them less than minimum wage, and now we all feel bad about it.
Well, I guess if I go to a fancy restaurant, wait, does that mean I can tip less at the fancy restaurants because they probably get higher tips?
Is like, right? Is that the case? I think we should just pay them more. But the problem is like the restaurant industry is so like committed to what if we just don't pay our staff very well?
Well, it's more of it's developed that it's such razor thin margins that if they started paying the staff well, they'd probably go out of business before the new model started working and paying off. Does that make sense? You don't
know that.
I don't know that, but I assume
you just made that up.
I assume that that's more of the truth, because like just in every industry that I've been in, when you're looking at like labor wages, it's just like labor is just intense and horrible to deal with. And if it's like mismanaged at all, your poor employees that are working more hours that aren't being efficient are just driving your business into the dirt so fast. And you just have to, I don't know. It's a nightmare to manage. When I was in the dry cleaning industry, summertime was my busiest time because we had no work coming in and I had to manage labor constantly and keep an eye on everybody to make sure they didn't get paid more than they worked, or they didn't, and it was horrible. But it's like either that or, you don't have jobs next year because the company, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. Should everyone deserve a living wage? I don't know. Probably.
No.
Teenagers probably shouldn't deserve a living wage. But with minimum wage laws, who knows? I don't know. Uh-oh. We're getting close to talking about politics now. This is bad.
It gets closer every time.
We should just shut off the podcast now.
Quick, switch to a different topic. So Infinity.
Age of Empires.
Yeah. I don't
dude.
particularly care for the nerf to manga die. I think it's stupid.
Yeah.
Nobody. So what if the lower brackets are getting killed? I'm in the lower bracket.
So what if 10 games in a row, a wild flock of Mangadai appeared and they instantly quit the game as I ran through their economy? So what?
That's their fault. Learn. Overcome. Why does Ariadne get 6 sub-factions before Yuching and Hakazan? Is Ariadne just that popular?
I don't know. I look at Ariadne and I'm like, eh. Like I don't see the draw. I just don't see it. They don't speak to me. I'll be honest, none of the factions speak to me. I don't even know why I'm playing Infinity. I don't like sci-fi at all. the tags look cool, and I'm slowly drawing on the models. But like as a general aesthetic for the game, I'm like, I just want to play fantasy. I just want to play I want some green skinned little monsters that run around and cast magic at people. That's what I like. But but the rules are so good that it's really enjoyable, and it annoys me because it's fun.
Somebody was posting a custom campaign system for this game. Did you see that?
Oh yeah, I did see that.
We should have brought that up. That would have been a thing to talk about.
Yeah,
instead of nothing.
I don't care about campaigns.
Yeah, you do.
I do if it's more time.
I mean, clearly, I'm positive this person. Well, I'm not positive, but I'll just load it up because I can.
Wait, because like what other campaigns are good in miniature games?
Yep.
I guess there's like escalation campaigns. There's a map. Hey, speaking of mini wargaming, did you see that big Age of Sigmar map they made?
No.
I have them on Facebook. I'm still friends with these people.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just like a big hex map, but it's huge and it looks really cool. I feel like it would be a nightmare to actually use, just like all maps are nightmare to use and keep track of. And you're like, how many people are dedicated playing? That's my problem with campaigns, is that like it's like a D&D night, but it's like everyone has to get together all the time. But instead of like everyone playing the same game, it's like 20 people playing 10 different games. And it's like, how do you keep it all together all the time? And it's tough. I've seen it work with Blood Bowl, but there's still people that drop out. Owen.
Look, it wasn't that fun.
And Mordheim is pretty fun so far. I feel like there's a lot more consequences of like every time you play your guys. Oh yeah. Oh shoot, what's his name? There's this guy in the Reichland warband that we're playing, and he's got injured a couple times where he's down to toughness 0, but he has 2 wounds. And so anytime you hit him, you automatically wound him. But you have to do it twice to take him out of action.
Yeah.
And he's like the hard to kill but easy to kill guy. And it's just, you would never once think that one guy was going to get 2 chest wounds or 3 chest wounds to go down to toughness 0. Like, what are the odds? And that's what I love about Mordheim. Is like, and when I look at any other campaign, I'm like, unless your guys are getting like affected or whatever, it's like, I guess the point of the campaign is you have to have some kind of map. Like, what's the point? What is this custom campaign? You brought it up. Why am I playing this? Why do I care about it?
What? What are we talking about? I was reading the custom campaign.
That I'm talking about that. Why do I care about this custom campaign? Sell me on it, even though you haven't read it at all.
So the idea would be that you can make a series of legacy games for Infinity, because Infinity, like most miniature games, is you play a game and it is a self-contained universe. Like, you play it and you're done after the game. There's no consequences for what you've done.
Right, but what's legacy about it?
So the way this works, as I've been skimming through the rules, you're choosing to build a company. That's the gimmick here. And then you have a captain who use the spec op rules, making up to 12-point guy. Your company can either, there's 5 different kinds of companies. There is a standard company, any 2 sectorials that are not NA2, a cohesive company, any 1 sectorial, and all your units gain +1 whip.
Wait. Any 2 sectorials, like cross faction?
All it says is any 2 sectorials. I'm going with the rules.
Okay. But not NA2.
Not NA2.
Okay.
There's a cohesive company, which is only 1 sectorial, but it gives you +1 whip. There's the Concilium Task Force, which is vanilla 012. There's the Tohaa Strike Force, which is Tohaa, and the NA2 Splinter Company, which is any 1 NA2 faction.
So the other vanilla factions are out.
It looks like the vanilla factions are just out. They have to be sectorials.
Except for 012.
And Tohaa.
And Tohaa.
Who at the time of this, I bet you 012 didn't have a sectorial.
Cool.
And Tohaa still doesn't. So there you go.
Yeah.
There's rules around constructing your team. You have like 90 points to start your recruitment. You cannot buy any characters or tags. No one who has a SWIC can come along. You can't exceed a unit's AVA if they're in both of your sectorials, whichever has the higher AVA is used. You can't ever get more AVA than the cap is, even if you retire units. I don't know what that means. Any unspent points are stored in your treasury, which is used for later purposes. No lieutenant profiles, no profiles with SWIC, no characters or tags, can't exceed. Peripherals are locked to your characters. They don't gain any experience, skills, injuries, or equipment. Oh no, any gain experience, skills, or equipment. If they die, they have to be repaired. There's a repair peripheral service. You can buy weapons. And equipment must be purchased.
For everybody?
Yeah.
So you just have a bunch of spec ops, basically.
Basically do. A new weapons and gear can be obtained and assigned to the company's units in between contracts, which would be missions. You spend RP to purchase new options for your mercenaries. Remember, an equipment must be immediately assigned to the existing unit, so you can't store your items, you can't stockpile gear. And equipment assigned cannot be reassigned to new units. However, it can be removed at any time to make space for a new one. So if you spend points and put it on a dude, you can't take it off and put it on a different dude. But you can remove them to make space for a replacement weapon. No more than 1 equipment of the same category can be assigned to the same unit. In equipment bought by the base profile do not count towards any limits. You always get your base profile, and then you can buy more. And then there's a couple of tables here between primary and secondary.
So this is barely infinity. Like it starts off with some basics, because you can't start with any SWIC.
Yeah.
And so like the profiles that only have SWIC, you just don't get access to at first. Do you ever get access to them?
No.
So no Swiss guard.
No. But you can make a Swiss guard because you can buy equipment for a guy to become a Swiss guard.
What about skills though? Like surprise attack, camo, hidden deployment, -6.
What about armor? That causes all kinds of different things. So you can buy armor for 5 to 20 to 30, where you can get, like, for example, you can buy super heavy armor for 30 extra points. It gives you arm 5 BTS 6, and it also gives you the special rule immunity shock, 2 wounds, no wounding cap, and size 5.
If you already have 2 wounds and you buy that, you go to 3 wounds?
No, it sets, but it gives you no wounding cap.
Okay, so you're kind of like looking at your like guys with no SWIC. I don't know. I have Pano open, but I'm like, Crocmen have -6 with surprise attack and camouflage and hidden deployment and infiltration, but they have like armor 1. But you could make them armor 5 with 2 wounds and no wounding cap. That seems pretty good.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, it makes them 60 points instead of 30, but.
And consider that an army is 90 points.
Was it only 90 points?
Yeah. So you only have 90 to build your team.
Okay.
And you have to buy a spec ops as your lieutenant, and it comes out of that 90.
But the spec ops can only be 12 points, you said?
No, that was just an example.
Oh, okay.
Different factions have different spec ops, and they all cost different amounts.
Yeah. Okay. Huh. All right. So
then it gets into experience.
because
that was just the gear.
But what about so gear? But what I don't care about experience. What I care about is death. Can you injure your guys? Can they lose equipment? I'm guessing they can lose equipment. Can they lose skills? What can they lose? How can you maim your guys? I mean, characterize your guys. How can you build character on your team?
All right. Injuries. Anyone who went dead at the end of the game has to do a Phys -3 roll. If they pass, they get back up. They're okay. If they fail, the unit rolls on the injuries table. Write the injury, modified, blah, blah, blah. The potential injuries are Battle Fury, punctured lungs, arm injury, brain injury, leg injury, body compromised, eye damage, and shell shock.
Those sound like they correlate to all of the stats.
The Battle Fury is whenever you try and give them an order, you have to do a whip roll, and if you fail, they do the impetuous order instead. And lose the ability to have cover and all that. So they have all the effects of impetuous.
That's fun.
If you puncture their lung, they have -1 Phys and -1 to their second move value. If it's an arm injury, -1 BS. If it's a brain injury, -1 whip and -3 CC. If it's a leg injury, you get -2 to your first movement value. If it's body compromised, you get -2 Phys. If your eyes are injured, -1 BS and -2 to discovery. And shell shock is -2 to whip.
Okay, so my question is what are the odds of people wanting to actually play this versus ITS? Because ITS is tournament practice, and people like to play competitive games like Infinity for tournament practice.
I mean, that's the question, isn't it?
Would you want to play this?
Maybe.
Because it totally throws balance out the window.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that. What I think I'd rather play is a mix of this and a map. Like I'd want a campaign map, and I think that would be neat. So like instead of going down to the nitty-gritty of like what gun do you have, I'd do something like think like XCOM. If you've played it, probably haven't. It's not really your jam.
I've seen it a little bit.
But like think of like let's say we're going to play a campaign, right? So we get out the hex tiles like old Warhammer Fantasy campaign systems or 40K systems for that matter. And it's like, okay, these are the factions fighting over this territory, and you're representing the organization that your group is from. So like maybe you're the Pano, maybe you're military orders, whatever. And you have a certain degree of like fighting power. And at the beginning of a round on the campaign map, the players involved allocate fighting power to different tiles as they choose, and then play games there using that fighting power with a maximum of 300 in any place. Or maybe you make it 400. And you get benefits for holding those tiles. Maybe you get additional SWIC or additional fighting power. And then you make it where the tile production or the tiles held give and lose fighting power based on games. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like you and I would say have 1,000 like points essentially. And you can assign them in 50-point blocks across territory connected to your territory. If there's no combatants, you just win. And if there is someone you have to fight, then you play a game at that point scale. And they pay whatever points they brought. So you could end up in games where it's lopsided, where somebody's like 300 points to 100 points. And you make up some custom scenarios to deal with what you do if it's like a heavy outnumbered, like you do like a 4 bracket, like greater than 25% of your forces, it's this kind of scenario, and you have like a selection of them. Equal forces are like pitched battle effectively, like they're the supremacies, and then like you outnumber the enemy becomes either their version or your version, where it's like a room mission maybe, where they start in the room and you just have to wipe them out because they're so outnumbered. You do something like that. You make some custom scenarios to fit with the numbers differential, and then at the end you take the victory points, like the value of your guys that died, that's reduced from your overall pool of points that you have on the campaign map, and then you gain campaign points back based on territory held. I think that'd be neat. That'd be something that I would play.
You're kind of taking like the best of Wartime stuff.
Sort of. I'm actually like, I'm thinking more, because now it doesn't, like, you don't have to get into the nitty gritty and try and figure out like who's armed with what. It becomes more like strategic of where you're deploying your teams essentially. And then you could do something so that people don't end up in like trapped in game sort of thing. Like maybe you can only deploy based on some arbitrary fact. Like at the beginning, you can only deploy troops in up to 2 areas, and you have 600 points to spend between the 2 areas, and you can put as many as 400 points in a single place. But maybe one of the tiles that's like a hotly contested tile allows you to put troops in 3 different places or something like that. Or it's like you take control of like the spaceport, and having done so, tags no longer have a SWIC cost. Like stuff like that.
Yeah, I feel like doing like the custom guns and everything, equipment on each person, like basically unlimited spec ops. I feel like it just gets way too tedious, because when you're learning Infinity, it's hard enough on its
Well, this
own
is
to
not
remember.
for new people. This is not a.
Oh,
I
for
wouldn't,
sure, for sure.
I would not be like, hey, let's all try and play this cool blah blah blah. It's like,
But
no,
isn't
no.
like campaigns like a good way to learn Infinity?
I maybe.
I feel like that's who would be drawn to. Well, maybe not. Maybe it's like, because, yeah, I don't know.
How do you add a spec op on the web version? Because they're just a profile on the app, but
I think it's under, there's some kind of setting.
yeah, I thought so too.
Oh, options on the bottom right.
NA2 Mercs?
Wait. Never mind. I have no idea.
Huh.
Whoa, you could do unit sorting? So you can have
Yeah.
it by name and type? Oh my gosh.
This is why I've been so confused when you guys have had so much trouble trying to do stuff, because I'm like, you can just change the order. Like, I do type, unit name, and then publishing order. So it does all of my heavy infantries, and they're all alphabetical.
You can put it under the, oh my goodness.
You can click and drag and change the order of them too.
Why did I not know this before? You're like, just go down to heavy infantry. Oh, and I like that a lot. I go type unit name classification.
Yeah, there you go.
I like that. Oh my, that's so much better. I love that.
I feel like the way to do a campaign for Infinity is built entirely around making teams of spec ops. But the problem with it is that there isn't any ability to gain armor. Like you can't switch to like heavy and like medium and gain like the armor stats that this has, because the spec ops don't have that ability. And that means you can't just do it internally. If I was going to ask CB to do something that would open the door to being able to do like a full-on Infinity campaign, it would be add the ability to purchase armor types for the XP values in the Spec Ops tab, that do what this guy has done, writing up these stats, where it's like, here are your like all of the different types of armor, and you give them names. Like this guy has, he's like mobility suit, nano scoot, jammer suit, jump suit, etc.
Wait, did you figure out how to do it in the online app?
No, I gave up. I just did it on my phone.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't think it's possible.
I'm sure it's possible. I just don't know how to do it.
I don't know if it's possible. They're not the same map.
Anyway, you do that, and then all of a sudden you'll be able to do a campaign, and all you do is the XP becomes points, and then there's a system for gaining and losing points, and then you add an injury chart, and you're off to the races.
Wait, have you seen the trailer for Dune, the second part of Dune?
I have, yes.
That's great.
Coming out later this year.
I'm excited. Sorry, campaign. What's going
on? I mean, that was kind of it. Because like the campaign thing is got all kinds of cool stuff. All kinds. I mean, it kind of has something, I guess, because you can increase your armor using that. So I guess that's something. Yeah, maybe actually the Spec Ops just works. And then people will go like, well, not all Spec Ops are created equally. Because like if you look at your O12, you get you get your Kappa. Hack Islam Spec Ops is a fucking Muyib. So like you get your Kappa, and I start with rifle, light shotgun, Panzerfaust, D-charge, pistol, close combat weapon, bioimmunity, dogged, religious, number 2, BS13, armor 2, BTS 3.
How many points does it start off at?
24.
Mine starts at 13. So I don't know how that works with XP.
Right.
Or whatever.
Now you can gain XP on top of that, and it scales proportionately. Maybe it works. I've not actually, like, people talk about it. We're like, oh, everyone will just play Muyibs. And that might be the answer. But I'd be interested to try it out. Like if you did something where you were like, build a 150 point list using only Muyib or only Spec Ops or something like that, or 100 points using only Spec Ops. And then you just take this guy's injury table. And then you play it out. I think that'd be cool. Be something to try.
I made a Kappa that is only 103 experience.
You just max out everything?
Yeah, pretty much.
The best part is like
a multi-rifle and a multi-sniper rifle. There we go. All range bands covered.
You can make like mega statted out Spec Op, and he's still like armor 5, 2 wounds. And he's still just gonna die.
Yep. No wounded cap.
There you go.
It's true. You can just murder him. You can just murder him. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of taking a break from like Infinity building, like list building, until I actually start getting some more games in, because I've like created so many lists. I'm like, I just need to play some.
Yep.
So I need to figure out, because Saturday was my gaming day, and now I just work Saturdays. So I got to figure out another day to play. Because but it's summertime and it's so nice outside, and there's like disc golf to play and hiking and biking and
just play in an evening.
But that's after work when it's nice out.
That's what days off are for.
But then you go to the mountains.
I know. That's why you go in the mountains. That's why the evenings are when you play your games.
But it's still nice out.
All right, whatever. Then don't play. That's the solution.
Sounds good.
Nailed it.
Too many hobbies. Too many hobbies.
Oh, there's like all kinds of downtime events where you can roll and like your characters can go off and do stuff.
In the campaign?
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff here. This is probably like a pretty fun thing to do. For me, I think a campaign map would be what I would want to play for Infinity. Maybe I'll write that down at some point. Maybe I'll have Ash write that down at some point. He won't do it. There's no money. All right, we're at like 2 hours. We haven't said anything of interest yet.
Nope.
You have anything to say?
How
do we stop this recording?
The past is history. Tomorrow, a mystery. And today is a gift. And that's why they call it the present. I just watched Kung Fu Panda.
That's what it was.
But it's from something. I blew. Okay, this is a real story. My coworker was like, he was like struggling for like 5 minutes to figure out the actual wording on it, and he was screwing it up. And he finally was like, yeah, this is it. I'm like, let me load up Kung Fu Panda for you. And I played it, a clip off YouTube, and he's like, what movie is this? He's like, that's the quote. I totally blew his mind as the little turtle, Oogway or whatever it is, just dropped some wisdom.
Good old Master Oogway. Got lots of good advice.
Yeah. Good times.
Good
what do you have?
Times.
What are you going to end with?
Goodbye.
Okay. Good night. Wait, how do we stop this recording?
I don't know. What if we just leave?
I think we just quit. Goodbye.
I feel like I have the ability to end it, but I don't actually. I can only start a recording. Oh God. If I end the meeting for all, does it go away? Well, Ash, I hope this doesn't fuck things up for you. Good luck.